Right. Good evening. Good evening, sorry. Today is what's the day? January 26th, 2023. I always want to do this. I'm going to pause first. I don't want to record myself coughing. I just did. All right, so I'm going to just do a recap on because I haven't actually um, shared recaps on my trades for the last um, what should I call it? The last few days. Didn't trade this day. I wanted to because I was watching the market, but helping my colleagues in our Discord, and this was amazing. This is my one of this day was a day I really wished I traded because the setup was there. But it was the opposite today. Um, the same, actually, no, it's not the opposite. It's the same setup, just on a higher time frame. But I had a different idea for today. This was a different day. Yeah, my gosh, this one took so long before we got to the target. And then this was pretty good at the open, and then just basically just I won't say we messed around. Actually, did we? It was funny. It was a weird day. This day was weird, very weird. I mean, we made money. Okay, this I have to be grateful that we've had very good green days, um, essentially over the last few days. But it's not so much about that. At least not that's not what we're trying to improve on with our trading or how we're trying to trade. If anything, we're trying to get better at not so much reading the market because we've been doing pretty well with that. And I say we because I'm finding that I'm doing it more with my friends in Discord. We do this live, but it's not just the reading. It's just the plans have been going really well. My read on the market has been pretty good recently. Today was a bit weird, and I will explain why. But let's go over some of the old trades. I'll start off with this particular day. All right. So um, what happened here? As you can see, okay. So this is something that's really interesting. I don't know if I did a recap of this day. Probably did not. I'll do it anyway. So what's interesting and what I'm finding is, especially when you see this is a day of confusion. Um, and then also some of this is a combination of different accounts because I've just basically put all the trades from every single account because I trade more than one account and I trade them at different times. I normally use a trade copier to copy all my trades in to all my accounts, but I'm finding that what helps a lot is when I am able to essentially take the main trade of the day on say a certain number of accounts, and then I use a trade copier. I'm sorry, with the trade copier, and then I then now just trade one account and just scalp everything. So that's literally what's happening here. Actually, there's no point in me going over this. Essentially, whenever I find the market is in a state like this, whoopsie, that was scary, wasn't it? But whenever I find the market is doing this, and then I'm seeing wedges, and they're not sort of reversing and all that kind of stuff, I find myself scalping to get out break even because I know the market's gonna eventually turn. On this day, I was not in the right mindset. I was very tired. I was exhausted, especially when we got to this point of the day. And yeah, it was just not a good day to trade for me. It had nothing to do with price action, had nothing to do with reading the market. It was all just to do with just exhaustion. So I'm gonna just leave this because there's just too much to go through, like why I went long here, why I went short, why I went long, why I went short. There was just so much confusion. I have this in my journal as confusion. Whenever I see this, when I look through my trades, I go, yeah, you were just confused. But the reason why you were confused wasn't so much to do with not knowing which direction the market's going. You were just exhausted. And you can see it started to happen over here. Now, let me explain why there's certain things I've learned whenever it comes to trading the market, and I have started to mark these things in my journal, should I say? Um, Now this isn't what I did. I don't know why this is showing up because I didn't take any trades here. Sometimes the Ninja Trader shows some weird trades at the open that I know I never took. Um, I'm not sure, and I don't even remember going long here. Like, why would I go long there? No, I never trade past the red dot, so this is weird. This day, anyway, I went long here, and I know why I went long. So essentially, what I was looking at was this. I'm just going to take this off for now. So what was happening is, oh, by the way, why this looks scary is because this is showing all the trades for all the accounts. So it's not as bad as it is. All right, so essentially the way I saw it was we had you can call this a major trend reversal for the bigger what's actually happening. We've gone down strongly. We started to wedge. We have an attempt of a bottom here. Um, and I remember there was, when I was looking at actually I'll just put this up. I was looking at the tick chart. So I use a 6K tick chart just because it compresses the overnight session pretty well and I can see what's going on. So I remember in my plan when I was talking to colleagues in Discord, I said that we have an exhaustive sell climax over here. Usually when the market does this and we pull back, it will try and test this bull bar over here. So of course that's exactly what it did, but of course I did not trade it that way, and you can see we had a wedge bottom here, a really good buy signal. This would have been great to target this. Now at the time I was not trading the way I now want to trade, which is when I see a really good setup on a big move or on the high time frame, just really kind of look for a really good entry. And you could say looking for a bottom. I don't look at it that way. I just look for a place where I think the market has exhausted its movement, and you can see that there is now sort of a shift in the supply and demand. Supply and demand shift, and therefore target where I think we are most likely going to go. And in this case, it was over here. All right, so we have this big strong move down and an exhaustion over here. Like I said, the market is going to test this, but this is such a strong move, we're going to get a second leg, right? And that's the second leg. What I failed to understand at the time was the fact that that second leg will most likely take out the low. So when I was taking my wedges, it didn't make any sense to go long here, and I was looking to go long here. In fact, I miscounted all the wedges. As a result, there was a lot of confusion. All right, so that's something to know. So we have three pushes: 1, 2, 3. You could argue this is the first push, second, third, but I always kind of count this first. I don't know if I went long. Maybe I did over here. It failed. Went long here, failed. And then I saw this coming down, and then all of a sudden I went short. Okay, I thought, oh, we're in a bear trend, a bear breakout. And I forgot what I was actually doing. That this was a massive sell climax, so therefore it was not going to come out that way. At least it was a very low probability. This is a sell climax for this move, but I obviously didn't see it that way. We have a trend line test over here, and then obviously when we I think on the ES we have a trend line break. Usually we test lower. This is an amazing buy, usually buying on this candle, or you could target this point here. But I knew that anyway when I did that, and I bought aggressively and covered all my losses there. So that was really the way I read the market. Now, because I know this is possibly going to be a major trend reversal, testing this, pulling back. This is sorry, do you know what I'm going to do? Let's put come on. There we go. Let's use a pointer. And then we'll use one here too. Crosshair, turn it to a pointer. Okay, so we just have one pointer on both charts. Okay, so yeah, so because this is an exhaustive sell climax, right? And this is a wedge bottom, 3 attempts to go lower. So this is a major trend reversal here, at least this here. So this is a great buy, at least on 42. I would normally buy here at least small, but you can buy here for a higher probability. It's held at 20 MA here. This is definitely going up. Now, we know it's going to test here, so therefore you want to start looking for exits over here. So this is at least the idea. You can see it's testing this moving average, which is the 9 or the 60, the 20 on the 5-minute chart. So coming into this day, my plan was this. This is the first leg up, right, of this bull climax. This is a pullback. So therefore, I am looking to play the second leg up, right? Now, if you look closely, this is the overnight session. We are forming, this is a bear channel, which is this spike. We have a pullback, we have an attempt down, another pullback, second leg, and then this is the market coming down, right? So for me, this is one, two, we're probably going to make a third, or in fact, you could probably say the wedge started here. One, first, second, third, double bottom. So this is a bear trap. So the moment I saw this bar racing down so strongly, I was looking to buy. And the moment this bull bar showed up, these two bull bars showed up on this chart, I went long. So where is the, oh, here we go. I just went long straight out of there without hesitating, entered long here, and then added to my position over here, which is kind of over there. My initial target was this previous day high, and there was also a gap here that would have been a really good target. Now, this is where things, I kind of got a bit weird or funny over here, only because I started to see a wedge forming. And I thought, oh, we're going to test down. And I got out of my position for, I think, a 10-point, no, it was a 5-point gain. Now, I had a problem. I ended up going long again when we shot up, which was now stupid. Got out stupidly, went long again, got out, and then anyway, in the end, I made back the money and then just lost some of it over here. I mean, I ended the day green, but it wasn't the way I wanted. Now, why did all this happen? Why did I lose my patience? I had to stop trading. I could only trade for the first hour this day, and I essentially lost my focus and started doing stupid things, getting confused because I thought, oh my gosh, if this pulls back, I can't go back to training again, and I started doing stupid things, and that's why this is happening here. The note to self: do not be trading when you have other things to do. As you can see, price rallied really strongly. We broke above the wedge. Whenever you have price doing this, i.e., I'm just going to take this off. Whenever you have price, you have a very good sell setup over here, but then you're getting very bad sell signals. This is already a warning that you're probably going to get a big bull trend. I did mention to the guys in the Discord that I expect a big bull trend today because we have a double bottom here, but obviously I wasn't thinking of it that way because of the way I lost focus. So that was another thing to note. Try to stay focused. We had this really nice pop. As you can see, we started to hold the 240 MA, which is the moving average on the 1 hour chart. We went sideways there for quite a bit, formed a wedge. So first leg, pullback, second leg, pullback, third, a wedge bottom. This looked like an exhaustive, and this looked like a breakout, but it was an exhaustive sell. So therefore, it was a really good buy, and we had this really nice pop above the moving average. Usually whenever we get a big pop above this moving average, we always get big bars. This started really nice small pullback bull trend into the next day. Obviously, I missed all that because I had to go off. All right, so this day, what was my plan? So before I even show the charts, first thing I always do is I look at the overnight session. I like to see how the overnight session has gone relative to the close and relative to everything. Another thing is prior day we didn't really go sideways for too long into the overnight, so there's not a lot of you could almost say there's not a lot of support over here. It's reasonable. So I looked at this, saw this really nice pop, and we started to wedge down. First leg, second leg, third leg. This is a wedge bottom. Had this bar, which was a bull bar, closed as a bull bar, and then the second one. I think I decided to go long here, which is just on this bar. And if I display that, yep. So I went long 2 contracts. I had a target of 20 points just up here, and yeah, I was kind of a bit thrown off because I was having a bit of an argument with someone, and it really threw me off. So I decided to walk away. I just left my target, left my stop, and got out there. And that was literally it for that account. I was done. Then I have this OCD issue. I now realize that, oh, I made the money I wanted, but however, I had spent some money on commissions, and then I took another trade just to cover the commissions. It's a dumb idea, but I do it sometimes, and that's why you have this. I went into another account and just started trading, just scalping the whole thing, going long above the bars. As we pulled back, I kept on buying. I think I shorted some. Yeah, shorted, got out, bought. And then I thought, okay, do you know what? I'm going to take one last trade. Saw this two legs to moving average. I look at this as a break of a trend line. So chances are the next attempt to get above here will be sold, which is a major trend reversal. It's what we call a high major trend reversal. I saw this endless pullback forming, a nice test of the moving average, beautiful pullback from a failed breakout of the moving average. So I decided to buy it. I just went for 5 points and got out there. Because again, and I noticed the risk reward is really good because of the fact that we have a nice, we're most likely going to take this high out. So I just thought, might as well just take it. And then, of course, we sold off as a result of that major trend reversal. This two-legged pullback to the moving average is a warning that this is going to happen. So whenever I see this happen, I'm always looking to sell here. But at the time, I'd already decided not to. All right, this day, okay, so why did I decide to go long here? Essentially, looking at the overnight session, so this is this part, this is this. I saw we had pulled back, so this is going to get a second leg, and that was a second leg forming, right? And if it's going to get a second leg, it will form a wedge. 1, 2, oh sorry, 1, 2, and 3, right? So when but I miscounted. I counted as 1, 2, 3, and I forgot that this is not. This is so big. The other one too will be. It's a channel, basically a wedge, and so therefore I went. No, I was planning on going long here, and I missed it. Then we had this big, massive bear trap, right? An exhaustive sell, very convincing. It's convincing everyone that we're in a bear trend, which doesn't make sense because this is where the trend started. This is beginning to wedge, so most likely this is a trap. Got this bull bar, went long slightly above it. Yeah, went long here, and my target was 20 points, and that was my 20-point target. I went long, then got out, then went long again, which was stupid, and that was because I had a finger fumble, so had a worse price. This trade took about 3 or 4 hours before we got out here, before we got there, which was a bit of annoying, but it was just what it was. This day I didn't trade, but I was looking at this wedge. I was watching the market on my phone. This was a really good short below 4, at least for 2 legs. You could have made at least 20 points here. This is a nice wedge bottom, really beautiful buy signal above 15, and look, you started really nice bull trends. Today, oh, actually, let me understand what happened. So we had a gap down. So if we look at gap down, nice bear trend. But as you can see, the spike is beginning to get pullbacks. So chances are we will get a pullback at the open. I wasn't looking at this chart at the time because I was looking at TradingView when this happened. But the fact that you have a nice micro wedge top here, a test of the moving average over here, a beautiful sell signal here, right? Because you have such a strong spike, you should get another leg down at the moving average. And then you have a beautiful sell signal number 4 over here. Therefore, I would have taken this. And then again, it's testing whatever moving average is here below this, probably the 9 on the 5-minute chart, 2 legs down. So you did that as well. And you could have gone out just about here, just below 7. You can see the wedge bottom, beautiful buy signal here, beautiful buy signal above 15. And it started an amazing bull trend. The target for me was initially would have been the 76 low, but definitely the previous day close. That's exactly where we stopped at the previous day close, and then we ended there. Now, why do I think we're going to get to the previous day close? It's just the way price likes to test those areas. The first area that you know it's going to test is the previous day's low. As you can see, we spiked up to there, and then we now had a 2-legged pullback here. Now, what I then now did notice was there was a leg 1, leg 2 measured move, i.e., if you imagine this is the first, because it moves in 2 legs, this is the first leg. The second leg is here at least. So there's this. This is so close to this close that the market is probably going to test it anyway. If it's going to do a leg 1, leg 2, then we're probably going to get a leg, the leg 2, we're going to probably test this as well. I mean, we did get to the leg 2 to the tick here, and traders sold. There are lots of measured move targets throughout the day. I'm not going to mark them. Oh, actually, I'll see. I think there was a really nice one between this low and this high. It wasn't an exact one, but it was over here somewhere. There were so many really good ones. There was a measure move of this. There were a few measured moves based on this spike over here had a really nice measured move to the close. There were nice measured moves based on this range all the way up here, and as you can see, all the different targets were reached. So I was a bit gutted. I mean, I did talk through the Discord about the different targets, and people were taking trades. You could have just bought all the high twos off the moving average. Here was a nice high one. The moment you see this, you know you're going to try and get this. I probably would have ended trading here below this bar, but then seeing this and knowing that this is a magnet would have been nice. All right, the next day, which was today. So we've rallied really strongly, really strongly, carried on into the overnight session, still kept on going. Now at this point, I'm thinking prices overextended, especially when you look at the 240 MA, which is over here. We're a bit extended. However, when you look at the daily chart, we have a lot of bull bars. Right, prior to today, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 bull bars. So I thought the buys are very strong here. We're holding the moving average. We're probably going to have a doji over here since we're opening over here, but it will probably have a bull close, right? So actually, I wasn't sure it was going to have a bull close, but I knew we would have a doji today. Why did I know, or what was I expecting that? Only just because of the fact that we're now in an area where there are lots of sellers. The sellers have done this much damage. They brought prices all the way here. We have a better price for them. They're probably going to try and do damage. But they were disappointed today. And look at what happened. You know, remember they gapped down so strongly, and then of course we had a wedge, 1, 2, 3, or you could argue 1, 2, 3 for the wedge, pull back, and then this is a breakout test. But prior to this happening, we had gapped up so strongly, and because I'm expecting a doji day, I don't want to buy this far up from the moving average. This is the moving average over here. I don't see why traders will buy this high. It's just, unless it's something remarkable in the day that's going to happen, like this day, where you have big bull bars above the moving average, then you expect a big trend. But for a day like this, where we've trended so strongly already, we're going sideways, then we get this big pop. I'm not expecting a bull trend at all. We actually did get a bull trend in the end, but what we actually ended up happening was we had a bear trap. So this is the price action for today. As you can see, the way I assessed it was we have this big massive spike. You can see the bear bars, but no pullbacks here. This has got a small pullback here, no tiny small pullback here. Then you get 2 bear bars. So the moment I'm seeing 2 bear bars here, which is obviously on bar 1, then I see a test of the high, right? Then I see a big massive bear bar. This tells me that these 2 bear bars are giving a lot of traders the impression that we are certainly going down. And at this point, I'm like, I need to go short. So I go short below this bar, which is here at this price. My target is the moving average and previous day's high. As you can see, I got out on both. And the reason why I decided to do that is that, okay, so the plan, there was a bit of hesitation. I saw how strongly bearish we were at the open. And I thought, oh man, I don't need to target here. I could probably even go lower. But it just dawned on me that the market doesn't just go from a bull trend to a bear trend. So I don't expect this to be a bear trend. I expect us to have a bit of a trading range and some buyers to step in at some point. So at that point, I thought, okay, do you know what? Just take your profits. Don't worry about it. I'm sure we're going to make some more money later on. And that's literally what happened. I didn't take any more trades on the day. I did want to go long above this, but this is not a really good buy signal. It's a wedge as well. So you have 1, 2, 3. I actually marked it better here. 1, 2, 3. So not really good buy signals here. You can see a first attempt of the moving average. I guess because this is so strong, you have a breakout test over here. You can see breakout test of this range. A nice bear trap, but it's a higher low major trend reversal because this reverses here. I've seen this play out so many times where you get a massive sell, convinces you that we're going into a bear trend, and we were thinking it was going to be a bear trend because of the fact that it held the MA. But you look at the bars here, we have too many bull bars, some closing on their highs, and this is also this looks like a trap. And you get this big massive bull bar almost engulfing this and engulfing it here. At this point, you know, all right, wedge bottom, we're probably going to come and test the high. As a result, and that's exactly what happened. We went so quickly here. There's a lot of confusion in this area over here. We went sideways for quite a bit. You can see we formed a wedge. and then beautiful buy signal over here. I missed this because I had to go again, can't trade at 2 o'clock, so it didn't make any sense to take a trade here. But this is a beautiful risk reward. Buy here, stop down here, just about 7 points. You got at least what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least to this point, you'd have gotten 1 to 2 at least. So this would have been a good trade. Nice small pullback bull trend, beautiful spike, pullback, and then channel going up, and then a breakout of the channel. All right, so that was my trade. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We've gotten already what I think is a final flag, at least a big flag. Maybe this could be a spike, pullback, maybe 3 pushes. This is the first push, maybe another push, and maybe another push up. We'll see, but I don't expect a lot of bullish price action tomorrow, but it is looking bullish for tomorrow. All right, that is my recap for the last few days.